definitely game number 2, or about to get into game number 2 between No Tomorrow and Team Naventic. That's kind of how I feel about this series already.
Yeah, it's a really awesome series so far. I just hope it continues through. The drafting, the play styles across the board, everything is what I was hoping for after watching both these teams play already. So just keep it up.
And we have the possibility of a lot of adaptation throughout the draft if this gets later and later, since, again, these two teams know each other well. Man, that is some epicness
right there. That might be more impactful than the Inception horn. It's borderline. That was...
Wah. Is that how it sounds? Even a little bit?
But Battlefield of Eternity here, chosen by Naventic. Classic for them, one they haven't been as successful as they were in the past, but again, it looks like a new and improved version of both of these teams. So I think it's unfair to kind of gauge. You know, it's just going to be who can draft the best, who can play it out the best here. It does seem, weirdly enough, Naventic more stubborn in their drafts, but maybe not, because it's just that they drafted legitimately the exact same composition.
Right, just in a completely different, somewhat different order.
And I have a theory behind this. Depending on how these drafts go,
okay,
it might not be the conspiracy theory you were hoping for, but we talked about B-Kit.
But the conspiracy theory we deserve?
Maybe. Maybe. Hopefully. So B-Kit is a player that we knew when he got on Naventic, we very quickly noted how often he was getting caught out.
Yeah.
Until Varian became a thing,
right,
and then he started playing very, very well, and the entire team looked like a completely different team when he was on the front line.
Yeah, so much so that we were wondering what was going to happen with Varian nerfs.
Why does Zuno move to the off melee, off warrior role? They're going to force him onto very safe melees because they don't want him to get caught out, and Zuno makes up for it. That's why you see the Johanna. We aren't there yet. We're going to keep track of the trends moving forward. But that's my conspiracy theory I built in the, while you were dancing. I was...
What? Oh, so you're going to say I'm dancing and you're doing the work.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, I got the
right?
backpack on, boys, ready to carry the squad. Does the shoulders out.
Savage,
hey.
Yo.
That's why we got this cam, so you guys can see me when I do that.
That's the exact reason.
Yeah, no, it took me a lot to make this happen, but we're here now. Arth is banned out for No Tomorrow. Naventic tasted our standard out the way. Do we see the first pick, Malfurion, a Li Ming, something else? I do want to see much higher priority of Greymane. I've talked about this on every map that he's viable on. I want to see more of him. Oh man, significantly more of him here today on Battlefield of Eternity. I think it is something we are missing in the North American meta.
So with Arthas and Tassadar banned, are No Tomorrow really wanting Zarya again? They've shown a lot of priority for Zarya.
I think, Zarya is really good. I just feel like she's not as high as we make her out to be in North America, as consistently as she is. She provides a lot. She really does. She is a great hero.
But Dread, Korea likes Zarya.
They do. Korea's also better at the video game than us. So, I mean, they also thought Tyrael was first pick, first ban for a long while, and North America didn't look at it once. We just accepted we can't play Tyrael the same way. So, maybe there's a time and a place, That's all I'm hinting to. Malfurion is going to be the first pick. Where does Naventic want to move? Is it going to be a Tychus? That was the highest. In the last time we saw them play this map, they went Tychus Malf. So with Malf off the tape, Lucio was banned out, though, the last time they played against B-Step. So do they want to pick it this high? I'm going to say no. I feel like I'm the only Lucio hype train up in the first half of the draft in North America. So I'm guessing it's going to be more of like a Tychus ETC, Tychus Dahaka.
They liked Dahaka on Battlefield of Eternity last time. Oh, there you go.
And everything I say, once again, proven wrong. I've never been so bad at my job in my life.
Do you want to just throw your... Is this a good time for this?
Yeah, just bust it out, boys. Just go ahead and take my entire wallet. Just in the tilt jar.
You're so tilted it didn't even make it in.
I threw all of my esports dollars down the drain. All right, so we got the Malf Dahaka Lucio, a bit more macro play, something we expected after watching day number 1 in North America. I like it. I'm surprised to see the Dahaka over the false stand on maps like this, but also more melee-centric meta. It makes sense. Where do we want to know tomorrow? I think Li Ming is my first thought. Li Ming or Greymane should be in this rotation, and then somebody on the front line that they want. But again, my notes, hold on a minute. Just got to get these.
There you go. Anub and Vala.
Anub and Vala, nailed it.
So even favoring Vala over Li Ming, but that does seem to be a No Tomorrow-esque type of thing to do. Vala was a huge priority for them. Granted, Li Ming kind of was too for Talking Trees. It was his most played hero in part 1, but in this case, it might be that they feel like Vala can flex a bit more for them depending what else they want to pick later on.
Yeah, I mean, I think I love the Anub and seeing a bit more priority onto him. He is slowly rising to the top for me. He's never, as a solo, not a huge fan of him there, but anywhere in the double warrior. But when you run double warrior on BOE, again, you're automatically admitting you want to be more defensive than you want to be offensive on the Immortal race itself.
It's kind of cool to see a Nubarak with Vala because if they're expecting Team Naventic to want to get Li Ming.
Oh, they do. Now, with the Greymane ban, it is a force into Li Ming, essentially.
It's super cool because the Nubarak not only has that spell armor, but again, his beetles are so annoying and frustrating of being able to stop some of her skill shots of being able to get to the Immortal. So yeah, the defense there, definitely there for No Tomorrow so far.
They need another warrior for No Tomorrow, but Naventic here, again, you always want Vala, you want Greymane, or you want Li Ming. Li Ming is at the top, and then depending on what region you're from, Greymane and Vala are here and there.
Well, we've seen some Tychus Artanis, where then the Artanis becomes the attacker, although with Dahaka, that's sort of out of the picture now.
And even when that is the case, it's a major risk most of the time, right? So we'll find out, though. I think they have to move into Li Ming, but it was such a huge power play there, as you brought up by No Tomorrow. I think that was very cleverly done.
But Naventic, in this position before, could not pick Li Ming versus B-Step, and what did they get?
Lunara.
Lunara.
Yeah, that's a good point that you bring up now that I think about it.
And Tychus
but
is still
both
up.
work well into a noob, or work poorly into a noob, excuse me, just because the anti-magic that he provides. There's the Tycho, there's the Lunara. They're going to double down here, leave the main warrior alone. So I want to see Murden for No Tomorrow. He's a great double warrior, really solid to follow up, set up things with the Anubarak, dive on the backline if that's what they need. Keep him surviving. Tyrion's another one that I think would be pretty solid, but risky into the composition that we see out of Naventic for now.
You wouldn't like Johanna, even though blinds would be pretty good?
Johanna plus double warrior equals...
Oh, that's right.
No enjoy arena. Okay, so why though? So why do I say that? Because I say it often. And it's whenever you run a double warrior, you naturally are going to struggle in the damage department. So what you have to do then is make sure that both of your warriors are providing a reasonable amount of, you typically self-sustain, but more importantly, damage itself. Johanna legitimately is poor at initiation across the board. We've known that when she's even a solo, she does very, very little damage outside to just minions itself. So when you already are taking an entire slot, making it weak in initiation, poor in the lockdown department, and weak in the damage, you have to make up for it in macro. We're on Battlefield of Eternity. You're not going to make up for your wave clear by picking a Johanna here. Conveniently enough, there's a Johanna.
The Crusade calls, Dread.
Dread's conspiracy theory holds true. Bum, bum, bum. You never thought that was going to happen. Bam. All right, but let's talk about
Let's talk about the Alarak in the room, please.
Okay. It is an absurdly defense focus. So I talked about that high Anub means double warrior, which means defense. They just took the I want to play defensive strategy and decided to take all the esports dollars in the world and throw them on top of it like I did before. Just because they doubled down on it. They were like, we are all defensive. If you want to move up whatsoever, we have the highest amount of kill potential. Murden set up into telekinesis, into Immortal Stun, into silence. They've got a lot of things really working out for them, but their team fight will struggle if they aren't successful defensively on those Immortals.
Well, we know that Alarak is sort of a comfort niche for No Tomorrow. It's not like they play him a ton, but he is always a possibility. So for people at home and maybe aren't as familiar with Alarak and what he provides, the reason why his defensive capabilities are so good because he's very combo focused. He has telekinesis, which can drag people in. It's also sort of a way of saving yourself, but if you use it for going all in on somebody, then you're just kind of in at that point. He has some self-sustainability too. He has silences, so some interrupts as well for that.
I mean, a lot of it is just the telekinesis, right? Because it goes, not only can you drag them in, like a Dahaka where you get the drag, but you legitimately can, if they're at the proper distance, any direction, you can push them.
Push them somewhere,
so the minute you see this ring hitting the ground, you just go, and just, force wall them into it. And then they get stunned by it, and then suddenly you can chain with a lot of other heroes.
Murden, Malfurion.
Anubarak, we've got them all.
Exactly. Well, let's see how it's going to work out for No Tomorrow. They are up 1-0 in this series as we head into game number 2.
Oh, man. The tilt jar meme. She came out.
Yeah, for reference, we've been holding on to that one for a little while.
Yeah.
Waiting.
We've just been waiting for the proper tilt jar moment.
Yes.
And I think we experienced it. I'll be honest, conveniently enough, I had my wallet on me. I didn't plan that one out. I went changing.
Good job, good job.
Thank you. Oh, man. So, and then the double warrior with the Johanna on the side of Team Naventic here. It's a doozy, but B-Kid once again on a very safe front line. I'm going to stick to it. I'm calling it. That is the game plan here because they do feel that he was struggling on the front line, so put him on the safest.
Made safer with Region Master on Battlefield of Eternity.
Moon Burn coming out from Malfurion there. Tiger JK on the side of No Tomorrow. Standard Q build out of Vala. Everyone else is its standard build. Accelerando for Kenma. 5-man commitment to bottom for No Tomorrow. Or, excuse me, for Naventic. Only a 5-man, or 4 for No Tomorrow. That's caster math at its finest.
But now Dahaka went to the top, so, you know, it's normal 4v4 now.
Yeah, that's a smart play to do anytime you play Dahaka at home. Go to the lane where everybody's going to commit and then instantly burrow because your wave clear is so good and to lose out on 0 minion wave, but help your team just 100 to 0 the entire minion wave because your primal aggression is actually insane.
Sometimes you'll see Alarak be in the solo lane, but in this case, is it having Alarak here in the 4-man, them trying to commit to maybe getting some early kills with all the lockdown they have?
Honestly, Alarak I don't think does too well into Dahaka in a 1v1 period, and then it also helps their kill potential. Yeah, Murden, Malfurion, and Vala do really well together. Anubarak is a fine placeholder in the top half of the map, and the laning late phase is so short here that you aren't too worried about it. So yeah, I do think that is going to be the thought process there. One combo attempt, it landed, but Urho saw a Dwarf Toss aggressively. Might cost him his life here. It looks like it will. Naventic here is going to get the first kill of the game.
Yet another silence hits Johanna. A lot of Naventic low in health bars, but they do have well tabs. They're going to use them, several of them, as well as the healing from Kenma to get them healed back up and ready for the first Immortal phase. Jason, Talking Trees, and Tiger JK started to whittle down the health bar just slightly, but for now it looks like teams are just being willing to trade out as much as they can.
That trading out here is going to favor No Tomorrow. Damn attempt goes in. Stun is going to land onto Jason from the Immortal. The damage from Lunara. Zuna gets the burrow. Not going to land the drag, and the heals from Tiger JK keeps him up by the skin of his teeth there. No Tomorrow manages to make it out here in the first part of the Immortal phase.
It's a little too close for comfort. Jason has a tap though. He's going to go right back in with Monster Hunter. See if Zuna can get the drag this time. He's starting to go for the chase, but there are so many members of No Tomorrow there to catch him. He goes in with a combo, has a burrow. If nothing else, buying some time for maybe a counter kill. Tomster.
Really beautiful roots there from Tiger JK to get him after the burrow to make sure he is going to go down there. But also really smart play. There was the combo we were talking about, not perfectly timed. Urho missed the Stormbolt. Casanova actually gets juked, but he ends up hitting the barbs there, and that is another kill. 2 for 1 in total, looking at the entirety of the game now. No Tomorrow has kicked off the halftime show as well. They back out. Everything is looking good here if you are a No Tomorrow fan. Johanna goes in with a blind to buy a little bit of time. That is the biggest argument for Johanna on this map, is her 1 versus 5 delay potential. But even then, you know, how well does that match up to Murden?
We'll have to see as the game continues. No Tomorrow with a half-shielded Immortal to barrel down at the structures of Team Naventic. Still Anubarak will stay in the top lane versus Dahaka. With the early Immortal especially, it's always important to keep somebody in the other lane to continue the lane soak. But Dahaka can always burrow in, so it's something that No Tomorrow needs to keep in mind. Yeah,
tread lightly. No Tomorrow still has the kill comp down below. Looking to see if anybody overextends. There's going to be attempt 1. Nothing to land yet for No Tomorrow. The shielding has been removed now onto their Immortal. Will they get anything else? Well is a minimum here that they want to remove to not let the tap happen. You see them desperately trying to defend it, but yet it will fall. And it looks like the fort will too.
It's a nice siege from No Tomorrow, understanding how scary a combo from Talking Trees will be. Kenma is trying to go for the aggressive jump. Telekinesis gets Talking Trees away from possibly getting body blocked and then sound waved back to the team. And we will reset.
We will get the reset. Dahaka has been doing, oh, there's a kill combo. Urho not landing the Storm Bolt. The Talking Tree still got the silence. Emma speed boosting everybody away. No Tomorrow has the combo, but they are yet to land it.
Yeah, that's a great point. They have to make sure that the synergy is on point with that, and whether or not they can do that, it might just be trying to change up who hits what first. If it's going to be trees, then making sure that the roots are on the other side. Something to that effect. Because so far we've seen Stormbolts miss the target. We've seen Casanova's Burrow miss, although the follow-up Impale did still connect to get a kill.
To be fair, that was a beautiful juke. Tomster actually juked that one. So that one's a little unfair, but yeah, you are right. It's just been, there has never been a root telekinesis Stormbolt trio that ever landed. It's a body.
The invite's out.
The invite's out.
Naventic are driving around, looking for where the party is.
And Tiger JK burnt the surprise, just said, hey, it's over here. But it looks like No Tomorrow's going to transfer this party over the wall.
It is a surprise party that will come to you.
Oh, there goes the one combo. The
Surprise!
silence. They landed it. We criticized the combo, but the minute it initiates, deletes Lunara. A level advantage for No Tomorrow. They can rid of the Shaman camp, or the Khazra camp up on top. They can get their own. It's just No Tomorrow, man, is playing like they have no tomorrow. They just are ready to just do anything and everything they can to recover from what they experienced in part number 1, even getting the zone onto Tomster with Casanova and Urho.
These two are pretty far out, though. Drag
They're
to hit
so
Casanova,
mobile.
but they can always, there's the burrow away for Casanova. And No Tomorrow getting a kill on Lunara, who has Nature's Calling here at the very beginning of the Immortal phase, has put them so far ahead at the start of this.
Oh, good burrow away. Casanova's going to be fine. Vala's still raiding of the camp up on top. But if this is going to be stalled out, it does benefit No Tomorrow just because they can back out and get their Shaman camp, but they feel like they're under too much pressure. And they're also trying to time the map objective with their 10 spike over Naventic. That is the most optimal way to be able to play out this spike that they have on Battlefield of Eternity. It's not one you can rely on having, but when it hits, that's the ideal situation for you as a group.
Yeah, there is some time for No Tomorrow to do that, but it's still a full level away. So it's risky, but it's a one that they're willing to take because it would be such a huge spike, especially because Naventic are way far away from their own heroics.
Yeah, Dahaka went to clear up on top, and again, No Tomorrow, you can see them worried about the experience, but afraid to look to force it.
Yeah, and that bottom lane is pretty far pushed too. It put them in a risky spot.
Which is why I'd like to see them take the Shaman camp instead. In the long run, it will add up for them. Urho tries to peel off, gets dragged out. Silence on to Tomster. Won't be able to survive with that door toss and the Stormbolt locking one in. Passive used now for Zuna. Urho on the retreat. B-Kid trying to chase it down. Kenma goes in for the boop. Misses. Even gets traded on there onto Zuna as he goes down. Things falling apart for Naventic. 10 spike. 3/4 health immortal. And this could be game.
Yeah. Sometimes we say that, and it ends up not, and it may not. But getting heroic abilities for a full level ahead with such a strong Immortal, there's still a fort to go through. Team Naventic have to do whatever they can, including having Dahaka in the bottom lane, just to try to soak up and get heroic abilities of their own.
They've just got to all in as hard as they can. Rid of the mid gate as fast as you can so you can just dive your opponent. Urho even showing is something that maybe not needed, so rid of that front wall.
Urho's holding his, okay, he's still got Avatar.
Still going for the Avatar. Okay, Locust Swarm not going to see the cocoon.
I was like,
there it
is this the day we see
Dive.
Haymaker again versus Lunara? No.
The lucky thing for Naventic, not so much luck, but with their composition and an advantage that they do have is allowing Dahak to get that side soak. It's not only ridding of the Shaman that would put pressure on 2 keeps, but it's just the much needed experience where you don't feel like you're losing an entire body because they don't have the global, but they're still miles away. Again, focus on the mid.
Yeah.
You focus on the gates so that you have the highest chances of diving.
There's the combo!
And
Biggie's blown up!
that's gonna be 1 man down. The shielding still barely up. Now in melee mode is our Immortal. 10 still out of reach. 3/4 of the level and ticking. Lucio gets comboed in. He is gonna go down as well. No Tomorrow are looking to be able to lock this game in before Naventic even hits the 10 spike. Do they have the tools? Lunara's gonna be back up here. 12 seconds for Lucio, but they've set their eyes on the core.
The shields are falling. No Tomorrow looking at the core now. Arrows trying to zone Tomster away. The damage. Twilight Dream does some damage too. Everything used to take out this core, and No Tomorrow does it. they brought it to Team Naventic on their own battleground. They just did something that Naventic were known for doing in the North American region. Such impressive play. Once the combos started hitting, they never stopped. Yeah,
you started to realize why their composition was built that way, right? You're like, I can see a little bit here and there. And then suddenly when piece after piece after piece lined up, it was like, and Lunar's gone. You know, maybe super deleted, I think, on the scale, but it was very well done. And they played the map very well. They played the macro. They were just doing everything really right. And, you know, when I saw these teams, I was like, you know, Naventic they look so very good. They are such a promising group of players. I don't know if No Tomorrow has made enough changes, but they're just making Naventic look bad almost. Like, that is how well No Tomorrow's playing right now.
Yeah, it was hard for us to gauge No Tomorrow's improvements because their first series was versus Tempo Storm, who sits at the top of the region. But the Towers of Doom Battleground, if nothing else, should have been the indication for us. They played really well in Dragonshire too, but Towers of Doom, a battleground that is known for Tempo Storm's prowess. Now to be up 2 games over Naventic, who we were very proud of all the changes they made. You heard Zuna, they were taking HGC a lot more seriously as a group too, sitting 0-2 to No Tomorrow.
Crushing the hope and dreams of Naventic right now. You know, the series is not over, and it still could turn around with a reverse sweep, but we question both these teams sitting at the very bottom of our standings currently in HGC North America, and both are desperately trying to prove that they are not even going to risk a crucible positioning, and right now No Tomorrow is the one pulling ahead away from that.
Well, we will see if Naventic has what it takes, has the mental fortitude to turn it around right after this break.
Ruled Ashur-Nerub. Then came a war I could not win. I was forced into servitude. But here, in this strange place, no one commands my power! I will conquer the Nexus! Those who oppose me shall embrace the web of death. I am a Nubarak. I ruled once before. I shall rule again!
Born for the arena. On my squad, we trust the spirits for guidance. No one is left behind. Not even a pink skin. And when our backs are to the wall, I call on the elements to even the odds. The name's Rhaegar, heroes of the storm. I am the storm!
So, one day I wake up to find that me and my friends are lost. Again!